I'm gonna roll out a coil for my footing today. The coil is gonna be fairly thin to start. It does not need to be thick. So what I'm gonna do is just give myself enough of a coil that I can go all the way around my cup. The bottom of my cup, that is. So right now, oh, not quite, but it doesn't need to be that thick. So I'm gonna keep rolling it out. I don't have a very good flat surface. I'll be right back. If you don't have a little laminated placemat, please do get one because it does help keep the table from getting super dirty. You do want to wash it from time to time. All right, so on my surface, I'm just going to roll this out and make it a little longer and thinner. This again is called a coil. You will be building later on in this semester with coils. It's going to be a lot of fun. I have a tool called an extruder next door that we will use to make coils, and then you will build with them. It's a lot of fun. All right, so I'm making a nice smooth coil. Again, using this little laminated placemat is really helpful. Now this is where you're going to start doing the method called slip and score. So I'm going to work on this surface here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to score this area, this little rim here, with my needle tool. And then I have some slip up here. What is slip? It's really wet clay. And I can apply it with a paintbrush or my finger. I do have some extra paintbrushes up here so you can help yourself and use it for the semester. All right, so I will take my needle tool and score the surface. Only in the areas where I'm going to be adding that footing. You should not add a footing until you're finished smoothing out the sides of your cup. I'm really not done with mine, but I think that we have quite a few of you ready. So I wanted you to be able to see. But if you're not done smoothing out your cup and you're not done thinning it, please don't put a footing on just yet. All right, so now I have scored the surface. Now I'm going to take some of my slip. That's my really wet clay. This is what acts like a ceramic glue. And look, I'm going to apply it to my areas where I scored. Just kind of paint it on, and it's going to act like a ceramic glue between these two pieces. Now, I'm joining two pieces of clay. Anytime you are joining two pieces of clay, after the initial really wet plasticity stage, at this stage where it's starting to get a little bit harder, it's been used for quite some time. Now I'm going to score my coil. Am I going to use this whole coil? Nope. But I got it ready to go for when I do. And then I'm going to put some slip on there too. So that little container that I gave everybody has a red lid. You can take some of your powder mix that you have, your dry clay mix, and put a lot, and mix it up with some water. And you want it to be really liquidy. Now where those little ends meet, I'm just gonna go in on an angle here. Cut those so they match up. And I'm gonna also slip and score those. Again, that's gonna act like your ceramic glue. And I'm gonna add that slip in there. And I might just give it a little wiggle. Make sure I have it on there good. Give it a little pat. And this is where the banding wheels really come in handy. And I'm going to turn it to the side so you guys can see. Now, some people want to look at their footing like this. Lots of cups. You can see the footing just like this. Some people want to blend it. I'm going to leave this one just like it is. And I am going to show you another technique tomorrow. This is only one of many techniques for doing footings. Now I'm going to trim the inside just a bit. I want those to match up. Banding wheel really comes in handy for this part, and I'll show you why in just a minute. I'm going to pull that little extra bit of clay off, set it aside. This is actually a Lazy Susan. It's for cake decorating. So if you are at home for some reason and you are looking for a banding wheel, you can see if you have a Lazy Susan. You can usually find these at any craft store, or, place like Michael's that sells cake decorating stuff. And I'm just going to smooth this out a bit. Pat, 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 because I want it to be flat. And if you're at home and you're looking for a paddle, find something flat that has a little bit of, if it's wood, that's great, but, it could be plastic, but something that's kind of heavy. And now I'm just going to go around and smooth it out a little bit. My paddle was kind of rough. The edges were kind of rough. Now what I can do is I can trim it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit down and I'm going to rest my arm on the surface of my work area so that I keep my arm pretty steady. And I'm just showing myself what areas need to come off. Really helps to have a banding wheel for this, so you can be certain that your cup is centered. And as I go around multiple times, I'm just trimming that extra clay off. If I can't tell if my cup is centered on that banding wheel, it makes this a lot harder. All right, so I'm just trimming the outer edge. Like I said, some people want to see their footing, some people do not. It's a personal preference. I just want it to be consistent, so I'm just going around and just kind of fixing that up a little bit, and then I'm gonna smooth it out. Another little tool I can use is I can take just a wet paintbrush with a little water on it, and I can spin it around, and I can just smooth those edges just a little bit better with that paintbrush. Little trick. Be very careful when you use this method. I do not want you to end up painting your whole ceramic piece and making a muddy mess. But it's a good tool. Oh no, I have this little crack down here. It's not really a crack, but it's a seam, and I can see it. But on this side, I don't have one. So you have to make a decision. Do I want to see the bottom foot rim? And if you do, all I'm going to do is just take my needle tool and just trim a little bit so that so it's consistent. It's just a little detail. And I'm going to go over it with my paintbrush in just a minute. Now I'm going to trim the inside. So what I'm doing is just giving myself a consistent footing. So it has consistent thickness. Then I'm going to use my needle tool to pick those pieces off, those extra pieces. And then I'm just gonna take a wet paintbrush and just smooth out my imperfections. I'm not putting a whole bunch in there, just a little bit. And I'm just smoothing it out.